Welcome, one and all, to a special sideshow, SoulSym Sideshow. As usual, I am your host, SoulSym Mirak, and with us this evening, is Krin.
Hello.
So, this on this particular sideshow, we are going to be covering um, what Krin experienced after being shifted into the pocket dimension uh, during the fight with the Bandit King Rentigar. Um, And um, so, without further ado, I shall go ahead and paint the scene. Um, so, to recap, uh, Krin, the party pulled up on the the Bandit King's tree. He made his usual bid, which prompted a fight because band for band was an inciting phrase, and you were immediately flooded with flashes of the last time you encountered Rentigar, or rather the first time that you encountered Rentigar, and the loss of your entire company. Um, at which point, um, fear uh, overwhelmed your senses. You attempted to escape through the teleporter, and when that failed, you clutched your weapons and prepared for what you felt was the inevitable. Um, Seeing you in your state of distress, Virtuos opened up a pocket dimension and uh, enveloped you in it. So you uh, you go from seeing the aisle of the bus um, to basically being surrounded in this gray light. Um, you can still feel ground beneath your feet, but within this area, details of anything else is difficult to discern. Um, and up in the distance, you see a bright white light moving towards you. Um, as it gets closer, it starts to take the form of a towering humanoid um, who is clad in this very vibrant, radiant armor, carrying a tower shield and uh, a hilt of some sort, but the weapon attached to it is undefined. It's hard to identify. Um, uh, and as it approaches, you hear, "Shield the weak. Always protect those who cannot protect themselves. Prepare for war. Strengthen your mind and body. Let no threat catch you unprepared. Honor through battle. Engage honorably in warfare. Respect the might and wisdom of worthy opponents. Deterrence through strength. Exhibit such power that conflict is avoided through sheer strength. United front. Always support your brothers and sisters in arms. A divided front falls. Do you understand what these tenets mean?
Yes, I do.
Then why, young dragon, did you fail each of them in this moment?"
Uh, I think the silence there just spoke for itself.
Do you
Um,
understand?
I don't know. I just had horrible flashbacks from the first time I faced this person.
So fear is what caused you to disregard your mantle. Fear should never be an excuse to avoid conflict. I do understand that it is overwhelming at times, given what you have experienced. I can't say that I can relate, but I do understand that death has can have that effect on mortals.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just had horrible flashbacks of is it stepbrother?
Yes.
Of my stepbrother having to dimension door me back to the city because I was about to die the last time we faced this person.
Yes. And death is a justifiable fear, though by resigning yourself to that fear, you all but made your death inevitable. It is only it is only by sheer luck that your comrades were able to rally and remove the detriment your fear was causing.
He can see me crying, by the way. Okay.
Fear of death. I'm sorry.
He sees me
Um,
crying, by the way.
right. Um, I can see that this is difficult for you. Young dragon, you must shield your mind. Fear should not be a deterrent.
I
You should
thought my
learn.
mind I thought my mind was sheared. I thought I would never have to come back to this place, relive these memories of losing these people, of losing my command, losing my first people. And I'm sorry that fear took over me.
Your apology is noted, but your transgressions cannot go without punishment. You do understand this, yes?
Yes, I do.
I have watched you since your journey with your fellow aspects began, and you have been uh, a bulwark of direct conflict. You have not shied away from any other battle that has befallen you to this point. And in light of that, I will implore you, do you wish to continue as my aspect?
I do. I didn't want to see this guy again.
That is understandable.
And I, I was trying to avoid this conflict at all costs because I know how powerful he was.
Then you should have allowed your strength to override the will of your comrades, as difficult as that may have been in the moment. Deterrence through strength is what you should have attempted in that moment. Speak up for yourself in the future. Prepare your mind for any battle, regardless of if it is one that you wish to avoid. If it is unavoidable, prepare. for that battle. Be capable of standing against your own fear to protect the weak.
And I will.
I will ask that you prove it. Going forward, the nature of your stance as a fighter will be tested. I would ask that you travel alone momentarily whilst I send you upon this quest. This will be your redemption. Should you prove yourself capable of carrying these tenets in the face of anything, fear, aggression, apathy, you will have your mantle fully restored. But until that time, you will find that our connection will be strained. You will be presented with opportunities.
What will I have to do?
You will be presented with opportunities to show that you are truly an aspect of protection, not just of conflict, not just of combat, but protection. If you witness the weak being oppressed, help them. If you witness those who would oppress, abusing others, stand against them. If you would know that conflict is inevitable, prepare yourself for whatever comes. And should others need or want to rely on your strength, lend it to them. I understand that you have lost everything that you once cared for, but that does not mean that the world is uncaring. That does not mean those who could care for you will not come into contact with you. That means that those you have lost must be the shield and the sword that you fight with. Do not allow yourself to be ruled by your emotions in the future. Understand that you have a task that you must complete. You have a goal of protecting this world. There are forces that would see Jarmado, your home, plunged into darkness. There are foes who would see your lineage wiped from this earth. You
But I
have
don't
been
know what language you're talking about. All I know was I was born with the doors. What are you talking about?
many of your kin, many metallic dragons have been slaughtered over the centuries, the millennia even. You are one of the last, but not the only. I will send you somewhere that you may locate what you believed was once lost. Your job is to protect them. Your task is to dispatch those who would do them harm until they have the strength to protect themselves. Do you understand this?
I do.
For your sake and theirs, I hope this is true. I will send you back to your friends. I will send you back to your comrades. You will leave them and head in the direction I have provided for you. Once there, you may find that everything you thought was lost may not be entirely so. Bear my tenets in mind. Carry yourself as the aspect of protection, and your mantle will be restored. Fail again, and our connection will be severed for good.
Understood.
Young Krin,
You see him barely looking up.
lift your head, hold it high. The ground has nothing for you but feet. The horizon is where you will find your strength. The eyes of your comrades is where you will find your power. And in my tenets, you will find the will to continue. Now go. And with that, Ein'shay will turn away from you in a blinding flash of light as you fall back into the aisle of um, of the frizz. Standing before you is Virtuos, Zevril, Mojo, Egden, and to your left, just outside the frizz, is Maharashtra. You feel a strong sensation to travel north, which is directly to your left, outside of the frizz and off the bridge. Um,
I I don't say anything to them. I just say, well, I do have to say, keep a watch of Agden, and I walk off the bus and fly to the direction.
okay. Um, as you are flying, uh, you will notice the architecture of tomorrow's grave, um, and you see a lake uh, shimmering to your west, to your northwest, um, and it is shining with a otherworldly glow. The words of your brother, Golis, echoed through your mind. Go stand by the water sometime. It'll help you think. These were the last words that your brother said to you before he sent you through the dimension door to safety. What do you do?
I go stand by the water.
So as you um, fly, you've been flying for nearly an hour, um, and your wings have gotten a little tired. Um, you go and land near the water, um, just off the bank of this lake, and um, you can see a glimmering of light um, near rocks that are situated off, like just off of the shore, and extending into the waters itself. Um, do you approach the lake? Do you approach the water directly?
Yes.
Um, as you near closer to the water, you hear a um, kind of humming, um, it's it's soothing, but also distressed, um, almost like the ringing of a half-filled glass of water. But it's playing a song, and there's a wavering within the melody itself. Um, Looking in the water, staring at yourself, you see your copper scales start to shimmer, and they will turn gold, then they will turn silver, then they will turn brass, then they will turn platinum, and then they will revert back to your original copper. As as your scales cascade these colors, you your attention is drawn towards those rocks. And give me a perception check, please.
I do have my second shield out, my perception one. So my passive is a 23.
Okay, so that would be a plus 13 to whatever. So your passive is 23. All right, so
Yeah.
um,
If you want me to roll an active one, I can. But
yeah,
if you want to use my passive, okay. That's 11.
okay. So then with a 24, you would see um, you would see a clutch of eggs. Um, there's three of them um, hidden in what appears to be a, uh, a sort of it's not necessarily a cave. It's just a hole beneath the rocks. Um, and uh, as you do you approach this?
Yes.
Okay. Um, as you examine the eggs closer, you'll see uh, a weapon hidden behind them, and um, on one rock there is a shield insignia. On another there is a swirl of flame, and on the third is a pair of wings. Um, the weapon that is laying next to them, you recognize as your brother's. What do you do?
Try not to cry. Out of character, by the way. Um, yeah, pick up the sword and shield.
Um, as you pick up your brother's armaments, his words again, um, they ring through your head, but not the stand by the water. It will help you think. But you also recall his guidance, um, trying to encourage you to act more like a dragon and less like a dwarf. Um, how dragons are prideful creatures that have he's rarely seen one run from a fight, even if it looked like it was one that they couldn't win. Um, you're reminded of stories of this old dragon your brother once knew, who told him stories about the wars that um, the dragons fought, the metallic dragons fought against Rajon, um, and how even under persecution they built villages and protected lesser beings, sanctuaries for dragonkin and um, other magical creatures, and how um, the great worm that he always tried to compare you to um, had a had the ability to change his shape. Um, that dragonborns weren't hatched out of eggs like you were, and that means that you're more than what you believe you are. Um, and as you remember these things, the roll me a d3 if you or d4 if you have it.
Oof, that's a one, good sir.
Okay, that's fine. Um, so the egg with the shield emblazoned on it starts to shake, uh, and it starts to chip and crack, um, and you'll see a beak start to push through. Um, as uh, and as this first beak starts to push through, the winged egg will also start to rumble, and the fire swirl will rattle a bit. Um, they start shaking and knocking against each other um, until finally you'll see three dragon heads push out and begin screeching. Um, the the sensation or the urge that you feel is that they are hungry, um, but you don't readily see any food nearby. What do you do?
Do I have iron ration in like my backpack or something?
Yeah.
I pull that out and give. Try to make it even for all of them.
Okay. Um, so they begin to chew the rations, um, and uh, this gives them the strength to kind of push themselves out of their eggs a bit more. Um, and um, they're as they start to as their full bodies start to emerge, you realize that they're uh, they're not quite tall enough to keep their heads out above water. Um, so you need to remove them from the cave, otherwise they may drown.
I take them out of the cave.
All right. And as you remove them from the cave, you'll notice that one of them has like dull grayish scales, but another has uh, dull yellow, and the last is like a faded red. But all of them have like this unpolished luster to them. And you hear in your head, your trial has begun. Do not fail. That will be where we end this sideshow. Um, brief as it was. Uh, hopefully it was impactful. And if you enjoyed this sideshow, please consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and pressing the bell notification so you get notified anytime we do anything here on the channel. And I've been your host, your game master, SoulSym Mirak. And with us on this sideshow was Krin.
Hello.
Till next time. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed, and have a wonderful evening, everyone. Good night.